Your life as the founder of ChatGPT, what it's like to be every level of the man who built the mind of the machine hook. The call comes at 2:47 a.m. You pick up on the first ring. You already know who it is. You already know what they're going to say. The company you built from a whiteboard and a borrowed server room is now worth $80 billion. Governments are writing emergency legislation because of what you created. A senator in Washington just called your product the most dangerous thing since the atomic bomb. And somewhere, right now, 1 million people are talking to your machine like it's their best friend. You sit in the dark. San Francisco's skyline bleeding through floor-to-ceiling glass. The city looks the same as it did 10 years ago when you were nobody. You are not nobody anymore. But here's what nobody tells you about building something that changes the world. The world doesn't thank you. It fears you. It uses you. And eventually, it tries to control you. You built the most powerful mind in human history. And you're not sure if you're its creator anymore. Or its prisoner. Before we go further, if you've ever wondered what it actually feels like to build something that breaks the world open, stay with this. And when we get to level 8, I want to know in the comments, would you have done it? Built it? Knowing everything it costs? Let's start at the beginning. Level 1. The believer. You are 26 years old and you own nothing except a conviction. The apartment is $1,400 a month. One window. A second-hand desk with a wobble you never fix. 3 monitors. A whiteboard covered in equations that your friends don't understand and your family stopped asking about. You believe, genuinely, completely, almost religiously, that artificial general intelligence is coming. Not in 100 years. Not in 50. Soon. And you believe the difference between it arriving safely or catastrophically depends entirely on who builds it first and why. You believe that should be you. Not for money. Not yet. Because someone has to. And you are arrogant enough, or naive enough, or brilliant enough, you can't tell which yet, to think that someone is you. The first rule of this world, conviction is the only currency at level 1. You have no funding, no team, no office. You have a 47-page research document, a Gmail address, and the ability to walk into rooms and make people feel like they're standing at the edge of history. You send the email to Elon Musk on a Tuesday night. You don't sleep. Not because you're nervous. Because you already understand, somewhere beneath the excitement, that send is a door. And once a door opens, you can't pretend you never walked through it. He replies in 3 days. Let's talk. 2 words. And your whole life pivots. Question for the comments. If someone gave you $1 billion to build the most powerful AI in history, would you take it? Or is that the moment it stops being yours? Level 2. The builder. The office is a converted warehouse in the Mission District. Exposed brick. Whiteboards on every wall. 12 people who all turned down better-paying jobs to be here. You call it OpenAI. The name feels big. Intentionally big. The mission statement is even bigger. Ensure artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity. You say it in every meeting. You say it until it starts to feel less like a mission and more like a shield, something to hold in front of you when the questions get uncomfortable. The first year is clean. Pure, almost. You work 18-hour days. You eat at the desk. You miss birthdays. You forget what weekends feel like. But none of that matters because every day you wake up believing completely in what you're building. The first rule of this level: protect the culture. You are not just building a product. You are building a system of belief. Every person you hire has to believe. The moment someone stops believing, they become a liability, not because they'll betray you, but because doubt is contagious and you cannot afford an epidemic. You raise $1 billion from the people around you. Musk, Thiel, Reid Hoffman. Names that carry weight in rooms you're still learning to walk into. The money feels abstract until the day it hits the account and suddenly the whiteboard becomes a server farm, the 12 people become 40, and the apartment becomes a memory. You're building something now. You can feel it working. And you start to notice the first quiet shift inside yourself, the moments where you catch yourself thinking about what this becomes, not what it means. You don't flag that thought. You let it sit. That's the mistake. Level 3. The operator. GPT-2 exists. It's 2019, and you have a language model that writes coherently enough that your own team debates whether to release it publicly. You decide not to, not fully. You call it too dangerous. The press covers it breathlessly. Suddenly, OpenAI is not just a research lab. It's a story, a myth, a place that built something so powerful it was afraid to show it. You did not plan that narrative, but you recognize it the moment it happens. And you don't correct it. That's level 3. The moment you learn that perception is a tool. The moment you stop just building and start understanding that what people believe about what you're building matters as much as what you're actually building. The rules shift here. You're no longer just a researcher. You're a director of a story. Every press release is a chess move. Every interview is a negotiation. Every word you say in public gets analyzed by governments, by competitors, by people who want to use your work and people who want to destroy it. Microsoft comes to you in 2019. They want to invest. Not $10 million. Not $100 million. $1 billion. You sit across from their team in a glass room in Redmond. They talk about partnership, about responsible deployment, about shared mission. You listen. You nod. You know what this is. This is the moment the company stops being entirely yours. You take the deal. Of course you do. Because the alternative, watching a competitor with less concern for safety build what you're building, feels worse. That's what you tell yourself. And you believe it. Mostly. The first compromise always comes wrapped in logic. Level 4. The architect. ChatGPT launches on November 30th, 2022. You don't throw a party. You watch the numbers. 1 million users in 5 days. 10 million in 2 weeks. 100 million in 2 months. The fastest adoption of any consumer product in human history. Faster than Instagram. Faster than TikTok. Faster than anything. Your machine is talking to the world, and the world cannot stop talking back. The servers are screaming. The team hasn't slept. Your phone hasn't stopped. Every major media outlet wants you. Every government wants a briefing. Every CEO wants a partnership call. Every university wants a statement on what this means for education. Every parent wants to know if this thing is safe for their children. You give measured answers. Calm. Thoughtful. You say the word safety in every interview like a prayer. But inside the building, inside the actual machine of the company, you are moving at a speed that safety cannot always keep up with. You know this. Your alignment team knows this. You talk about it in internal meetings with a seriousness that reassures everyone just enough to keep going. The rule at level 4. Velocity beats caution. Not officially. Not in any document. But in practice, in the decisions made at 11 p.m. when you have to choose between shipping and waiting, velocity wins. Because the world is watching and your competitors are 6 months behind, and 6 months in this industry is a decade. You are the architect now. The system you designed is running. The question has shifted from can we build this to can we control what we built? You tell yourself yes. You're not sure anymore. Drop in the comments. Do you think it's possible to build something this powerful and actually control it? Or does it always end up controlling you? Level 5. The target. The Senate calls you to testify. You sit at the long table, the kind with green felt and microphones that make everyone look guilty. Senators who cannot operate a smartphone ask you to explain transformer architecture. You explain it. Slowly. Patiently. You have done the math. There are 435 members of Congress, and maybe 11 of them understand what you actually built. You are polite, diplomatic. You say we take safety seriously 11 times in 4 hours. Outside the building, protesters hold signs. Some say regulate AI now. Some say ChatGPT stole our jobs. One says Sam Altman is building Skynet. You don't look at them when you walk out. The rules at level 5, you are no longer just a founder. You are a symbol. And symbols cannot afford to look uncertain. Every stumble is amplified. Every offhand comment becomes a headline. You have a communications team of 14 people whose entire job is to manage the distance between what you think and what you say. That distance grows. The board situation begins to develop quietly, like a storm system forming offshore. You feel the pressure in small ways first. Disagreements in closed meetings about deployment timelines. Questions about your decision-making process. Words like governance and oversight appearing in documents where they didn't used to appear. You have given everything to this company. Your 20s. Your relationships. Your sleep. Your sense of a life that belongs only to you. And now the company is having a conversation about whether it still belongs to you. You keep building. Because stopping feels more dangerous than continuing. And because you are very good at convincing yourself that the next version will solve the problems the last version created. Level 6. The Ousted King. Friday, November 17th, 2023. The board fires you. No warning. A video call. 5 minutes. We no longer have confidence in your ability to lead. The call ends. You sit in your home office staring at a screen that no longer shows your company's internal systems. Your access has already been revoked. You've been removed from a thing you built in the time it takes to drink a cup of coffee. The first hour is silence. The second hour, your phone becomes a weapon. Messages from every person in the industry. From employees. From investors. From competitors who are delighted and hiding it badly. Microsoft calls within 90 minutes. Your team rallies publicly. Hundreds of employees threaten to resign. You say nothing publicly for 12 hours. That silence is a power move. You don't plan it that way. But you understand it the moment it happens. Every hour you say nothing, the narrative builds itself, and the narrative is building entirely in your favor. The rule at level 6. When the system moves against you, stillness is the most aggressive thing you can do. 5 days later you're back. The board that fired you is gone. You walk back into the office on a Wednesday morning and every person on your floor is standing and clapping. Some of them are crying. You smile. You thank them. You mean it. But something is different now. Something has calcified. You understand, in a way you couldn't have before, that loyalty is not permanent. That the institution is not the family you thought it was. That everyone, even the people who love what you've built, will choose the structure over the person when the structure demands it. You file that away. And you never stop thinking about it. Level 7. The Sovereign. The valuation hits $157 billion. You close a deal structure that gives you, for the first time, real equity in the company you founded. A figure reported publicly at 7%. On paper, that is worth approximately $11 billion. You are now one of the wealthiest people on Earth. The money does not feel like money. It feels like score, like confirmation, like a record of a fight that lasted a decade and that you technically, finally won. The rules at level 7 are unspoken but absolute. No one tells you what to do. No one edits your calendar without asking. No one in any room you enter has more authority than you. You have ascended past the point where hierarchy is visible. You are the hierarchy. World leaders meet with you privately. You fly commercially because you want to, not because you have to. You sit in rooms with the heads of state of 3 continents in a single month. They are asking you, a person who grew up in suburban Chicago, what artificial intelligence means for the future of their nations. You give them frameworks. You speak carefully. You genuinely believe most of what you say. But you also know that you are building systems they will never fully understand. And that by the time they understand them, the systems will have already moved. That is not something you say out loud. You think about the early days sometimes. The wobbling desk. The 12 believers in the warehouse. The email you almost didn't send. You don't miss it. That's the part no one tells you. You don't miss the beginning. You just remember it, the way you remember a country you once visited, vivid and foreign and completely unreachable. Level 8. The architect of everything. There is no meeting today. That is the clearest sign of how far you've come. At level 1, your whole life was other people's calendars. At level 8, your silence costs more than most companies earn. You sit in a room, private, sparse, somewhere outside the noise, and you think about what you've actually built. Not the product. Not the company. The thing beneath both of those. You have changed how humans communicate. How they think. How they write, learn, create, grieve, deceive, fall in love. The machine you built from a whiteboard and a conviction is now embedded in hospitals, governments, schools, militaries, courtrooms, and bedrooms. It writes code that runs infrastructure. It drafts legislation. It talks to children. It talks to the dying. You cannot unbuild it. That is not a tragedy. That is not a triumph. It simply is. The rule at level 8 is the one nobody tells you about when you start. Ultimate power is not control. It is consequence. You are not in control of what you built anymore. No single person is. What you are is responsible. For all of it. Forever. In a way that cannot be undone or transferred or appealed. The senators are still calling. The regulators are still writing. The protesters are still outside buildings. The competitors are 6 months behind, then 3 months, then neck to neck. You don't panic. You watch. There are moments, rare, unannounced, when you feel something close to peace. Not satisfaction. Not happiness. Something quieter. The recognition that you did the thing you said you would do. That the email got sent. That the door opened. That you walked through it. And that everything that came after was just the cost of that one honest decision. You made the machine. The machine made everything else. You live in that now. Fully. Quietly. Alone. The cycle continues. Somewhere tonight, a 24-year-old is sitting in front of 3 monitors in a rented apartment. 1 window. A wobbling desk. A whiteboard full of equations nobody else understands. He has a 52-page document and an email sitting in his drafts. He's been staring at it for 4 hours. He believes, completely, dangerously, with the kind of certainty that only exists before the world has had a chance to test it, that he is going to build something that changes everything. He doesn't know what the boardrooms feel like. He doesn't know what it costs to be removed from a thing you love by the people you trusted. He doesn't know what $11 billion feels like when it comes too late to save any of the things that mattered before the money. He doesn't know what level 8 feels like. But he will. He presses send. The door opens. And the cycle begins again. That's what it costs. That's what it takes. That's what it feels like to be every level of the man who built the machine that is now talking to all of us. Now I want to hear from you. Comment below. Which level do you think is the point of no return? The moment where you can't go back to being who you were before? Is it level 2 when the money arrives? Level 4 when the world discovers you? Or level 6 when even your own board tries to erase you? And if this hit different, if you felt every level, subscribe. Because we have worlds left to walk through. See you in the next one.